Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I hope everything is okay in your life. In this video, I will try to teach you what I know about the Awakening Valkyrie in the fastest and most detailed way. If you haven't watched the succession video on the channel, please watch all of it and then start this video. Because I explained the skills in general through Awakening, and as you know, we also use Pre-Awakening skills while playing Awakening. To learn Pre-Awakening skills mechanics, you should definitely watch Succession Guide video. You will not find a detailed explanation of the use of these skills in this video. Even though I tried to keep it short when I could, the video was too long. I understand you want short videos and you want to learn almost everything quickly and try. You should definitely stop at this point. This class you want to try and play is much more complicated and difficult than other classes. It has advantages as well as disadvantages. When you look at the classes that have come out recently, you may feel like an idiot in this class. When you examine the other classes, you can find unconditional damage and playstyle, but in this class everything is interconnected and you realize that you cannot do what you want without one. I have to make these explanations upfront so that you know how complex things you are dealing with as you try out what you will watch later. Awakening has more unprotected CCs than Succession and also has more unprotected mobility. The good side is that it has a very high burst damage power and more comfortably and freely in mobility, even if unprotected. Of course, this is not about moving forward by throwing the mobility elements we know straight into dash. We provide its movements with some basic cancels in the movement section that you can find. Speaking of movements, I see that Awakening Valkyrie is used a lot in one-shot type spots in these days. It offers a comfortable grind opportunity due to damage it causes to the environment as a result of the space R&B skill cancelling each other. Of course, in this video we will not praise such a silly and easy things and say, "Ah, what a beautiful class we have." This class is an FPS bound class. Unfortunately, it is not possible to play this class with a FPS value of 100 or less. Many of old classes have this situation and unfortunately there is no solution. You can try it, of course. I'm not in the mood to interfere with you, but when you watch the videos of the class masters, you will understand what I mean more clearly when you see that you cannot do the movements they have done or skill cancels while in PvP or PvE. The Awakening Valkyrie class has a lot of potential and you will have to study for a long time to unlock it. Compared to the new classes that have been released lately, it's very detailed. Unfortunately, the simple questions you ask me and other players whom we can call the classmasters during their streams or through different channels may not have simple answers. For example, the frequent question I get lately is, what is your PvE combo, or what is your PvE addons, and etc. This class has no proper PvE combo or fixed PvE addons. At least I'm not playing with this fixed ways, and I recommend you the same. Almost all of the Valkyrie videos I've shot recently were shot with Awakening Valkyrie. For your sake, I have only one request from you. Please go to the arena and try everything you see while watching this video on dummies. Then watch the spot review videos on the channel and you will understand how different things can be done for each spot. Do not forget to watch the Awakening Valkyrie 1v1 combos video that I prepared for you before. All combos are set according to CC rules. It contains combos from easy to difficult. After this long explanation, I'll leave you with the tutorial part of the video. In the first part, you will find detailed explanations about skills and then movements, cancels, and some other tricks. Preparing these and similar contents takes so much longer than you think. Please don't forget to like the video you watch, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, share the video on your Discord, and come to my Twitch live stream when you feel free. Do not forget, BDO is just a game. Have a nice game. Enjoy watching. Alright, let's start with Preawake. I already talked about Preawake kit. All skills I explained one by one in my Succession video. Please check that video. You need to understand how these skills works because we will use some of them while we are doing PvP. On PvE, we mostly use Awakening kit. This is your basic skill. We do not care this one. You can maximize it. / not using. Charging / not using. Sideways cuts. I already talked about this in Succession video. You can check the details, please. This is for only movements purpose. Severing light, not using. Glaring / mostly not using. Sword of Judgment, we only use this for rabams. Sharp Light, we definitely use this for knockdown CC if we need. Absolute Divine Power, we definitely use the skill on advanced PvP combos. For example, you can check my PvP videos on the channel. In some situation, I'm using this skill to give extra down smash chance to my opponents. Even Seko, absolutely we use this one. 15 accuracy rate and 55 DP. Celestial Sphere, we definitely use this one. We already have in Awakening 80% crit rate after rework, but we are using this skill also in defense situation. Judgment of Light, mostly not using. Ultimate Righteous Charge, definitely using this skill for movement purpose. Shining Dash, very rarely I'm using this skill, not necessary. Wraith of Elion, definitely we are using this skill. And by the way, if you shift E while in your Awakening form, it will heals you with Lancia, like this. We are using Flying Kick to cancel Shield Throw if you need on PvE or PvP, mostly not using. Absolute Punishment, definitely we will use this one because it's our grab. Absolute Counter, sometimes we're using this skill to give a quick CC on our opponents with Side Dash, for example. This one, this is a quick load CC. Shield Throw, we definitely use this skill even in PvE and PvP also. Just Counter, we can use this skill for PvP. Shield Chase skills are also our Preawake dashes. We have 3 Preawake dashes and the cooldowns of Preawake dashes are kinda different from Succession. Please check these skills and compare with Prime versions. Vow of Trust, not using Evasion, not using Alliance Blessing, definitely using Noble Vow passive, 62 passive. Our passives all should be turned on. Okay, let's check our Awakening skills. Noble Spirit is our Awakening buff, so we are using this skill. Noble Spirit, this is our Awakening buff. Almost same stats with Succession buff, but we have a different mechanics on Noble Spirit. When you use your E buff, you can just run through on your forward, not on your sides or your backward. Beat front guard, unlimited, no stamina consumption, nothing. As you can see, you can use the skill from skill bar. Let's talk about Vindicta. Vindicta is a defensive skill. When you're on Q block, if you type when you're on Q block, if you click LMB, this kind of small area hit by our shield and it applies slow on that area. Attack speed 20, movement speed 30 for 10 seconds. Deadline Chase, this is our Awakening dash skill you have in 2 seconds. Protected and remain times unprotected. Let's check. Here is a skill, as you can see. If you use Deadline Chase forward and backward, it will just linger Super Armor front guard your Q block form. Like this, as you can see, nothing changed. No any flickers, nothing here. But if you dash for normal time, it will be unprotected, as you can see. And by the way, if you dash through your backwards immediately 2 times, not 1 times, if you dash 1 times, it will apply Deadline Chase, but if you immediately dash as a second time, it will dash in Preawake Shield Chase dash. Let me show you. 1 and 2. So there is a simple solution to keep yourself in Awakening. While you're dashing backward, if you want to stay in Awakening, you should use LMB cancel. Let's check on it. Lancia training skill, this is your Awakening basic attack skill, this one LMB. As you can see, this has also a different buff that you can get when you use A or D LMB, this one or this one, you will get 20% movement speed buff on you. Most of the time you may see this movement for old Valkyries. For example, while we are doing PvE, for example, I packed mobs, I'm just changing my position with this and I cancel with my Q block, as you can see. And you have a little bit tiny iframe in this. As you can see, same like Preawake dashes. But there is no way to spam like Preawake. It's kinda a little bit slow and little bit hard to use this iframe in PvP. This is our LVS skill. Only it works if you have LVS spirit buff on you. let's talk about Circumference and Flow Lucem Fluxum. Circumference changed after reworked quite nicely. They increased total damage in it. They make it 100% crit for PvE and etc, etc. You can get your 80% crit buff from this skill, like that. As you can see, critical hit rate 80%. And also this skill has 3 different CC with its Flow Lucem Fluxum. First hit has stiffness, third hit, last hit, has float CC, and if you keep use this skill with Flow has knockdown. Quite nice skill. We mostly use this skill on PvE and PvP, but on the other hand, it's kinda dangerous skill because if you have a slow on you or something, if your animation is kinda slow while you're doing PvP, when you catch someone with stiff, for example, if you catch someone stiff, floats and knockdown, as you can see, it's just immune to your opponent because CC limit has been reached. Let me give a tips for this skill. You have 80% crit rates only on first attack. We will talk about cancels about this skill. We can cancel this skill with many other skills. If you cancel this skill, you have to give up from attack number 1. If you give up from attack number 1, you cannot get your 80% crit buff. Do not forget this. You can also use Lucem separate from this skill. For example, my Lucem on there, I'm using on N key. As you can see, it's free knockdown, but unprotected, do not forget. And Sacrum also unprotected. And by the way, maybe you didn't listen to my explanation part of video. I already talked in that section, in the first part, explanation section. Awakening Valkyrie has one of the most balanced skill tree in the game. You don't have any protected CC, you can only get a protected CC by only with your cores. We will talk about it later. Let's talk about Purification. Purification, you may be familiar this skill from Succession. Purification is your one of the best abilities in your Awakening because it has very high air attack damage. If you catch your opponents with float CC, you can use this Purification as a air attack burst damage. Shortcut is Shift LMB. Let me use this one. We have cancels for this skill also, I will talk about it later. And this skill has minus 20 DP for 10 seconds and recover your allies HP and a tiny HP recovery for yourself also when you hit opponents. But you can use this skill on your allies. 7 seconds cooldown, extremely good healing for your allies. I think this is the best heal skill in the game for now. Let's talk about Castigatio. This skill is unprotected, quite nice damage on PvE and PvP, but it depends on your debuffs that applied on your enemy, and also it depends on your crit buffs and on your add-ons or your buffs. I like this skill. I'm mostly using this skill to get tier 2 add-ons because 4 second cooldown is quite nice. It has bounce CC on it. It has 3 different waves and every wave has bounce CC in the first attack. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3, as you can see. Asilidium, this is your kind of filler damage and quite nice utility skill. We mostly use this skill to reduce opponents' knockdown resistance, or most of time we are using Asilidium for movement purpose. It has 100% crit on last attack, first attack damage, has no crit on it. If you want to give an extra damage, you should definitely use this skill with your 80% crit buff. It's super armor, no CC on it. It has a chance to get down smash. Let me show you Hasiludium animation. This is WF. As you can see, Divina Impulsa Shift Q skill. This one. It has front guard. You can use this front guard. All DP minus 10. Debuff on it. It has 50 crit rate. It has 3 different waves. If you want to cancel this skill like Circumference, you have to give up from the first attack damage. It immediately applies second attack and the last attack. If you want to give an extra damage, you should increase your crit rate with your Circumference or Celestial Spear to increase the Divina Impulse damage. Verdictancia, according to Rabams, this is our signature skill. Shift RMB. I really not that much like this skill. Yes, I like this skill. It's good, has good PvE damage, nice PvP damage, nice AoE, but I don't know, is this really a signature skill? I really don't know it should be or not. Let me show you. This is a skill. It's super armor, down attack, and air attack on last hits. You can check the last hit damage. It has quite nice PvE damage. Sanctitas the Enslar. I think this is our one of signature skills on Awakening, our F jump. Most of Valkyrie players calls this as F jump because F is a shortcut and you are jumping on your enemy. You maybe remember this skill from Succession guides. In Succession it's SC. When you click F, you just jump on your enemy, or if you don't want to jump on your enemy, you can use the skill and directly jump on yourself. Like this. It has quite nice damage on PvP. It's 100% crit. I really like this skill. You don't need any preconditions to increase the damage. Super armor, invincible on airborne moves. It has stiffness and knockdown on PvE only. Down attack, damage 45% reduced on PvP. And -2 hits on PvP only. And by the way, you will get 20 melee AP for 10 seconds when you use this skill. Flow Divina Wolves, they gave this skill after rework. They changed that skill and make Flow Divina Volt. Divina Volt has no cooldown, but you can only activate this skill after Sanctity the N-Star. You can use LMB or F after Sanctity the N-Star. Let me give an example. When you jump on your opponents, you can just F and it applies damage to your opponents. It has huge PvP nerf on it. I have to say I'm sorry, 70% is huge. The damage on PvP is kinda nice, not that good. I can say that this damage is filler. Accuracy rate 12 is amazing. I really like this accuracy rate. We have a lack of accuracy rate on our skills. Critical at 50. All evasion rate -9 is amazing. We have another -9 on Sacrum Ferrets. Last attack, air attack, down attack, and etc. We have many other things on skill. It has very nice PvE damage. And also, you are using this skill on PvE with F-Jump. We can use F-Jump as a movement skill. For example, we have many mobs in front of us. You can aim the last mob and use your Divina Volt, and it applies to mobs with back attacks and it has very high damage. Let's talk about Blitz Step. Blitz Step and Ultimate Blitz Step are kind of different skills, but when you hit your opponents or mobs, if Blitz Step success, Ultimate Blitz Steps triggers immediately. Let's talk about skill. Let's check skill stats. Attack damage is quite nice. 100% crit. You don't need 80% crit. And bleeding on the skill. Knockdown on skill, no protection. And down attack, 65 reduced PvP is quite high. And ultimate Blitz Step, you have same damage. You have only knockback on PvE. Down attack and down smash chance on it. We don't have down smash on Blitz Step. Normally, it works like this. Two different skills. It works with flows. If Blitz hits successfully, Ultimate Blitz immediately activate. As you can see, double Blitz hits your opponent. Promptness skill, one of the most common skill on Awakening. You will use this skill in many ways, in many things, in everywhere, because promptness is your one of the best useful cancel skill. From pre-awakening to awakening, in awakening, we will use this skill many times while we playing Awakening. Before give an example, let me check skill stats. Attack damage is quite nice. Critical hits 100% if not on cooldown. It recovers your mana. It's super armor if not on cooldown, but quite short time. Air attack and down attack. This air attack and Purification's air attack is your one of the best burst potential skills, and these two cancels each other. We will talk in the future. You can use promptness skill almost in every situation, even in Preawake or Awakening, after any kind of skills, after dash, after anything you can imagine. Let me show you. For example, after dash, promptness. After backdash, promptness. After side dash, promptness. After F jump, promptness. After right click, promptness. After blitz, promptness. Promptness is a skill that you can add almost after everything in Awakening Valkyrie. And it cancels many animations. We will talk about that. Let's talk about Parasancta. My love, Parasancta. SRMB is shortcut. Attack damage, almost 1700 multiplied 6. Only 100% crit on PvE, maximum 10 targets, super armor, but quite short time in the first part and the middle part. The last part is not super armor. Bound on PvE, down attack. Look at this PvP damage reduction. It's quite low, 20% PvP damage reduction. If you ask me, this is our signature skill. Let's check the skill, SRMB. Quite nice AoE. Wave of Light, this is your vacuum skill. You can use this Wave of Light with SF shortcuts like this, 20 seconds cooldown on it. Front guard, but do not trust this front guard in our awakening kit. Let's check on it, please. Just a 0.8 seconds for whole 4-second animation. As you can see, very short time. Please do not trust this front guard. And also it has bounce. Most of the time we are using this vacuum skill with cancels. How you are canceling this skill? You can use this skill on quick slots. For example, I put it on quick slots. I will just push 1 and immediately cancel this with Q. Let me show you. As you can see, it only applies the last wave of lights. Let's talk about our core skills. Sacrum Ferret. Sacrum Ferret, if you choose as core skills, it will has front guard. Let me show you. For now, we have front guard on it. As you can see, until Flow Loose and Fluxum, it has Linger front guard. I'm only use for Sacrum Ferret's front guards for PvE purpose. On PvP, I do not recommend to use. Let's talk about core purification. As the following effects purification tree after learning the skills: stun. Let's check. As you can see, your enemy stuns for 3 seconds. What is the purpose of choosing core purification? Why should I choose or why should not choose this purification core? I think this purification core for only good support purpose. For example, just a scenario, your teammates just CC'd by someone, one or two people trying to kill him. You can use your purification on your allies and it heals your allies. And by the way, if you choose for purification, you can stun the enemy. For example, this is the enemy. I just dash and use purification. Enemy stunned, my allies healed. Core Castigatio, one of the best core skill in skill tree. Normally Castigatio has no protection on it. It's 4-second cooldown, quite nice, and bound on every first hit. We have 3 different hits. Let me show you again. 1, 2, 3. On Core Castigatio, it gives super armor, almost linger, and it's amazing good core skills. Castigatio is good, for example, in siege. For example, you are defending very small room. You can spam your Castigatio as super armor CC like this. Just wait, another. Every 3 hits has bound. Is super armor, quite nice. Also, you can use Core Castigatio as a super armor linger. After, for example, you used many super armor, you don't have any super armor, you can use your Core Castigatio. For example, someone drained your front guard, you have very less front guard, you can use Core Castigatio to refresh your front guard 2 seconds. Core Hostilidium, it gives a knockdown on last hits. On Hostilidium we have dash, charge time and last attack when you hit something or at the end of the skills. Let me give an example. At the end of the skills, it gives knockdown on your opponents. I think this is not good like the other skills because we have nice knockdowns in these days. We don't have knockdown problem after reworks. It can be only useful, for example, in some 1v1 conditions. Core Verdiglancia. On this skill, normally we have PvE floats. It adds PvP floats on hits. When you apply a person in the game with float has very high air time, and if you have air attack modifier on your skills, it applies quite nice extra 1.7 more times damage on your opponents. But I'm sorry for that. For example, the animation of skill when you use your opponent first hit and second hit. As you can see, in the second hit we have down smash also, and the second hit we have airs. And the second hit we have air attack modifier, but we are using float CC on the first hits. They should definitely fix this. If they fix the situation, this will be one of the most broken core in our skill tree. But in this way, this is just a super armor CC skill. If you choose this one, just super armor float skill with big AoE. Core Sanctitas de Anslar, this is our F-Champ Anslar. It has super armor in normally, and if you choose core, it will has knockdown with super armor. And range CC is kinda. For example, you can choose your opponents and just jump on it. It has knockdown, as you can see. Quite strong CC. We have very nice cores on our skill tree. Sacrum Ferret, quite nice on PvE. Castigatio, almost amazing. F-Champ, amazing CC. Core Verdiglancia, if they change floats to last hit, it will be amazing. Purification, I only see the purpose of supporting. Core Hostilidium may be only good at 1v1. I really like my cores. I can change them, depends on the situation. Please do not ask me which one is good in which situation. You can decide if you know the class how you play. Okay, let's talk about movements. We talk in the first part. Movement is a problem on Awakening Valkyrie. You might be heard this space right click movement skill, but this is unprotected. Let me show you. This one, just space RMB. This is completely unprotected, but quite nice movement skill. So I can say we have a problem with protected movements. I'm using most of time to close the distance between enemy or while I'm doing PvP or PvE. I'm using this combo. In general, you can copy paste this, you can train this, you can just try on your Valkyrie. This is kinda mixed movements with Preawake and Awake at the same time. Let me explain what am I gonna use. First, I will start with normal dash, one of shield chills, which one is on. Then I will use absolute ultimate Righteous charge, WF Preawake. Again, I will use shield chase. After shield chase, immediately I will use promptness to change the weapon to awakening. After that, I will use deadline chase. After that, I will use Hostilidium. If your deadline chase is not on cooldown, Hostilidium triggers very smoothly. Let me show you before try. As you can see, deadline chase cancelled very smoothly. And by the way, you can use side dash to make these movements, because when you side dash, your class immediately change the weapon to Preawake and Preawake dash, as you can see. I will use with C-swap, C-swap dash, WF dash, space dash and WF. Smooth combo that I ever try in these days. We have many other cancels, many other combos for this class, because you are playing Valkyrie, you can make your own movements, but this is my movements most commonly used in these days. Let me show another movement. This is kinda old movement. For example, dash LMB space, dash LMB space to forward. Use this one. Another movement skill. I saw this skill used by some streamers and they are using this skill by macro. I do not recommend to use macro, but I will show the main idea how you can use this skill. LMB space Q, LMB space Q, LMB space Q. If you do this and cycle without any stutter or FPS or any other things, by the way, you need FPS to do this properly. It will look like this. LMB space Q. LMB space Q. If you do it faster, it looks like this. If you use this with macro, it will probably make it faster than this, but I do not recommend use on macro. Let's talk about deadline chase, cooldown and off cooldown distance. In normal time, deadline chase has very long distance for a dash, as you can see, almost this distance. But if you have not on cooldown, almost half. Alright, I want to add something about lingering super armor skills. We have some skills that you can linger your super armor effect on it. Verdict Lancia, Sanctitas Lancer, Hostilidium. Let me show you. If you use your F jump, it has super armor animation until your Lancias touch on the ground. Same for Hostilidium. It has linger super armor quite long. When your Lancia touch on the ground, it finish. Same shift RMB Verdict Lancia. As you can see, linger super armor until your Lancia touch the ground. Okay, let's talk about cancels, which skill cancel each other. Let's start with Sacrum Ferret. How can I cancel Sacrum Ferret? You can cancel Sacrum Ferret in many ways. After promptness, you can cancel it. After Divina Impulsa, you can cancel Sacrum Ferret. But do not forget, if you cancel Sacrum Ferret, you will not apply your first attack damage. If you not apply your first attack damage, you will not get crit buff on you. Let me give an example. I will just dash, space and RMB cancel. Normally I should get 80% crits, but I will not get. As you can see, no crit buff. I only used my Sacrum Ferrets, seconds, 30s and Lucent Fluxum. Same situation with Divina Impulsa. You can use Sacrum Ferrets after Divina Impulsa without the first attack. So it means you cannot get your crit buff. Let me show you. As you can see, no crit buff. Let's talk about purification. I know two cancels on the skill. One of them with dash, normal or deadline chase, and one of them with promptness. Promptness one is fastest one. First I will show with dash. When you dash, immediately shift LMB, it will cancel your dash, and it dash animation cancel promptness first animation, like this. Let's try again. With promptness, it's one of the fastest cancel in Awakening Kit. My shield is kinda touch your enemy as fast as it can. Let's check on it. Let's talk about Castigatio. After promptness, Castigatio animation is kinda faster than normal. Let's check it. Normal Castigatio animation is this. After promptness, Castigatio animations in every hits is kinda faster. Let's check on it. It's kinda faster. You can check on your account. Astrodium, this is a skill that you can use after any kind of skill cancels itself. And also, we talk about the movement section. After deadline chase, if deadline chase not on cooldown, it smoothly cancels Astrodium beginning animation. Normal Astrodium is like this. You have a small animation at the first part. If you use this skill with deadline chase, please do not let deadline chase animation end. It will cancel Astrodium animation like this. Very smooth protected movement. We talked about that Astrodium. You can use Astrodium after any kind of skill and it cancels itself. For example, I will use Blitz, then you can use I will use Blitz, and after Blitz, Astrodium immediately from my hands. As you can see, let's try on after Castigatio. As you can see, no start animation immediately stops Lancia on your enemy. For example, after shift RMB, as you can see, no start animation. So at the first part of while I'm trying to explain Hostilidium, that's why I call this skill is a good filler skill and super armor and has 30% less knockdown resistance apply on your enemy. It's quite a nice debuff. I really like Hostilidium, but do not wait a huge damage from this skill. Let's talk about Divina Impulsa. We have 3 different cancels for Divina Impulsa. We talk in the first part, you have to give up from the first attack, animation, attack 2, and last attack will apply if you cancel it. Let me show you. First, we will start with promptness. As you can see, after WF you can cancel this. After Blitz you can cancel this. As you can see. Let's talk about Verdict Lancia. You can use Verdict Lancia kinda faster after Flow Divina Volt. Let me show you. I will just F jump low and shift RMB. It's kinda faster than normal. For Blitz Step, after Terra Sancta, Blitz Step is kinda faster. After Promptness, amazingly faster. After Hostilidium, kinda faster. Let's check on first the animation of Blitz. This is the animation. Blitz. After Terra Sancta, the first animation of the beginning part is kinda faster. Let's check on it. As you can see, a little bit faster. After WF, after Hasti, we call this Hasti. After Hasti, it's quite faster than Terra Sancta. As you can see, the fastest cancel of Blitz with Promptness. Most of the time I'm using this cancel with Promptness and Blitz to burst my enemy or mobs that I'm trying to kill, because we don't have any collision after deadline chase. If you use it through your backwards, I will cancel deadline chase animation with Promptness, and I will cancel Promptness animation with Blitz. 3 different skills in very short time. Please check very carefully. As you can see, quite fast and huge burst for your enemy or for your opponents. Let's talk about Terra Sancta cancels. After Castigatio hits, Terra Sancta is kinda faster, and after we have a very small and fast and kinda hard cancel with Q block, you can cancel first animation of Terra Sancta. Normally Terra Sancta has this animation. This one. After Castigatio's any hits, you can cancel Terra Sancta kinda fast. As you can see, And we have also another cancel. We most of the time use this cancel while we try to burst our enemy on 1v1 condition. As you guys know, Q block cancel and space cancel is one of the most common cancels in the game. We already talked about in the first part of the video. After any kind of animation, to use Terra Sancta faster, we will use our Q block cancel Terra Sancta's beginning animation. You have to try by yourself on Battle Arena or on your opponents or on dummies. For example, I will use Blitz. After Blitz, I will use Space for faster animation for Q cancel. After Q cancel, I will use Terra Sancta. Let's try. This is huge burst for your enemy. I already talked about Wave of Light. We have 1 cancels for Wave of Light. You can put it on quick slots, for example on 1 and Q will cancel your Wave of Light's first animation and it will apply the last attack animation immediately. I also want to add some animation lingers for Awakening. For example, we talked about Sacrum Ferret's cancel after Divina Impulsa. You can cancel Sacrum Ferret until Divina Impulsa's animation ends. Let me give an example. Normally, if you cancel after Divina Impulsa, it looks like this, right? But Divina Impulsa has some kind of animation and this animation lingers. Until the end of this linger animation, you can cancel your right click. Let me give an example. As you can see, I just wait a bit and use this one. Same for other skills. Another situation for Asteridium. After WF, you can just wait and you can use Blitz Step or Shift Q, Divina Impulsa. Let me show you with Divina Impulsa. Wait and Shift Q. It cancelled. You can linger the animations if you know your class. Same situation, for example, F jump. I just F jump. I'm just waiting. I don't need to use my flow and flow. Let's talk about PvE conditions. Most of time, people asking me, may you please show me PvE combo? May you please, what is your PvE combo? Like these questions. I'm not using a proper PvE combo while I'm doing PvE. I am choosing a combo, depends on the slots. I am trying because I know every skills potential in my class. You should definitely learn your class to increase your PvE potential. For example, while I'm grinding in Sakurai Underwater, by the way, you can find Sakurai Underwater videos on my channel, on spot review section of my channel. I am using 2 different combos. For example, I'm using this one. I just pull the mobs in front of me. I'm just using Terra Sancta, Blitz, Shift Q, WF, and if any mob remains, just using Castigatio, like this. But this combo is viable with my gear. If you have 281 AP, for example, your AP is not that high like me, you should definitely choose which one is best for your character. There is no proper combo that you can use on this class, like Guardian, like Assassin, like other class, like Warrior. You have to decide, depends on the situation. For example, other combo that I'm using on Sakurai Underwater, I'm just using F jump, flow, shift R&B, backdash, and blitz. Mob's gonna die. So please stop to ask people, show me your skills, show me your add-ons, show me everything. According to my AP, that combo works. According to your AP, maybe you need extra skills. Learn your skills and learn how this class works. Valkyrie is not a class that you can memorize everything like other classes. That's why people do not choose this kind of class. For example, I pull a mob package in me. I will just spam my right click, Sacrum Ferret, blah blah blah, space cancel and purification to reduce TP. After that, I will use F jump, flow, shift R&B, again space, WRMB, WF, and Shift Q and Castigatio. This is the combo that I recommend to you. Let me do it again. Right click spam, space purification, F jump, verdict, and finish like this. I add this combo for newbie players. But please focus to learn every skill capacity, every skill potential in your class.